For 2 years, my daughter-in-law said my son was traveling for work. Then a delivery driver stopped me outside the grocery store. Are you his parent? This was listed as yours. It was a small box with one note. Open this alone. Inside was a key card, a storage receipt, and a date that was tomorrow. I'm Dean. I fix things for a living. Heating systems, broken pipes, electrical panels that spark when they shouldn't. I'm good at noticing when something doesn't work right. For 2 years, something about Eli's absence didn't work right, but I couldn't put my finger on why. Brooke had an answer for everything. Every holiday, every birthday, every Sunday dinner that came and went without him. He's in Denver this week. Atlanta needs him through the quarter. You know how consulting is. She said it with a smile that belonged in a dental ad, perfect and practiced, and just a little too wide. The delivery happened on a Tuesday. Late afternoon, that gray hour when the winter sun gives up early and the wind off the water cuts through your coat like it's personal. I just finished buying coffee and bread, the kind of errand that fills your day when you're retired and your wife is still working. The parking lot was half empty, puddled with yesterday's sleet. The driver was young, maybe 25, wearing a brown uniform that looked 2 sizes too big. He had a scanner in one hand and a small cardboard box in the other, the kind of box that could hold a pair of shoes or a few books. Nothing remarkable. "Excuse me," he said. "Are you Dean Callahan?" I stopped. "That's me." He checked his scanner, frowned, checked again. "Are you related to Eli Callahan?" "He's my son." The driver's frown deepened. This package was listed with your name as the recipient, but the delivery address kept bouncing back errors. The system flagged it for manual verification. "You're the backup contact on file." He handed me the box. It was light, too light. The label had Eli's name printed above mine, but someone had crossed out an address I didn't recognize and written, "Hold for recipient contact," in blue ink. "Is there a problem?" I asked. "No problem," the driver said, but he looked uncomfortable. "Just unusual. Normally when someone lists a parent as backup, it's because they're overseas or something. But the original ship-to was local, like 30 minutes from here." I felt something cold settle in my stomach that had nothing to do with the wind. "Thanks," I said. He nodded and walked back to his truck, already pulling up his next delivery on the scanner. I stood there holding the box, watching him drive away. A gust of wind kicked up a plastic bag from the ground and sent it tumbling across the lot like a broken kite. I got in my car, old Honda, 15 years on the odometer, runs fine if you don't expect luxury. I set the box on the passenger seat and started the engine, letting the heat build while I stared at the label. Eli Callahan. I hadn't seen my son in person for 2 years, not since the week before he left for his first consulting assignment. He'd stopped by the house with Brooke, all smiles and excitement, talking about the opportunity and the travel, and how lucky he was to get the contract. Brooke had done most of the talking. Eli had nodded along, agreeing with everything she said, laughing when she laughed. I remembered thinking he looked tired. My phone buzzed. I pulled it out. Family group chat. Brooke had posted a photo. Eli standing in front of some generic hotel lobby, holding a coffee cup, grinning at the camera. The caption read, "Another city, another early morning, blessed to do what he loves." The timestamp said it was posted 6 minutes ago. I looked at the box. Then I looked at the photo again. Something about the lighting was off. The shadows were too soft, the background too blurry. It looked less like a candid moment and more like something staged in a hurry. I zoomed in. The coffee cup had no logo. The lobby had no identifying features. It could have been anywhere. It could have been nowhere. I opened the box. Inside, there was no packing material. Just 4 items, laid flat against the cardboard bottom like someone had arranged them carefully. A keycard. White plastic, black magnetic stripe, no hotel name. Just a number, printed in small gray text, 3047. A receipt, printed on thermal paper, already starting to fade at the edges. A+ storage solutions at the top, An address I recognized, out past the highway, near the old industrial park. A unit number, 212. A name, Eli Callahan, and a red stamp across the bottom, payment delinquent, auction scheduled. An appointment card, the kind doctors give you, small and flimsy, blank except for a date and time written in blue pen. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. No location, no name, and a note, white paper, folded once. The handwriting was Eli's. I recognized the way he looped his lowercase a and never quite closed his O. It said, "Open this alone." That was it. 3 words. I sat there with the heat blowing and the radio playing some song I didn't recognize, staring at those 3 words like they were a puzzle I was supposed to solve. The keycard felt cheap in my hand, the plastic slightly warped. The receipt smelled like ink and dust. My phone buzzed again, another message in the group chat. Tessa, my daughter, replying to Brooke's post. "Go get 'em, big bro. We miss you." I put my phone face down on the dashboard. I looked at the appointment card again. Tomorrow, 10 in the morning. That gave me less than 24 hours to figure out what the hell was going on. The storage receipt bothered me most. Why would Eli have a storage unit 30 minutes from here if he'd been traveling for 2 years? And why was it delinquent? And why would someone schedule it for auction? I pulled out my phone again and typed the address into my Maps app. A+ Storage Solutions. 18 minutes away in current traffic. I knew the area. It was the kind of place where businesses went to die quietly, surrounded by chain-link fences and parking lots full of potholes. I should have gone home. I should have called Mara, my wife, and told her about the box. I should have waited and thought and made a plan. Instead, I put the car in reverse and headed for the storage facility. The drive took 20 minutes because I hit every red light. The road followed the coastline for a while before cutting inland, past the tourist shops that closed for the winter and the seafood restaurants that stayed open out of stubbornness. The sky was dark now, that full winter dark that makes everything look abandoned, even when it isn't. The sign was lit up. Orange letters on a black background, half the bulbs burned out. The office was a small building near the entrance, windows glowing with fluorescent light. I parked near the fence and looked at the gate. It was closed, locked with a chain and padlock. Beyond it, rows of storage units stretched into the darkness, identical metal doors painted industrial beige. Security lights on tall poles cast harsh shadows everywhere. I got out and walked to the office. A small bell jingled when I opened the door. Inside, the air was warm and smelled like dust and old coffee. A woman sat behind a desk, gray hair pulled back tight, reading glasses perched on her nose. She looked up at me with the expression of someone who had dealt with every possible excuse and wasn't interested in hearing another. "We're closed," she said. "Your sign says you're open until 8. She glanced at the clock on the wall. 7:47. "Fine. What do you need?" I pulled out the receipt and set it on the desk. "I need to access this unit." She picked up the receipt, studied it, set it down. "You Eli Callahan?" "I'm his father." "Then you can't access it. Renter only, unless you're listed as an authorized user. Are you listed?" "I don't know." She turned to her computer and typed, the keyboard clicking loud in the quiet office. She frowned at the screen. "No, you're not listed." "Can I pay the delinquent balance and access it?" "Not unless you're an authorized user or you have written permission from the renter." She looked at me over her glasses. "And before you ask, no, I can't give you his contact information. Privacy policy." I felt frustration building in my chest, hot and tight. "There's an auction scheduled." "That's correct. Day after tomorrow. If the balance isn't paid by then, the contents go to auction and the unit is cleared." "What if I pay it now?" "Are you an authorized user?" "No." "Then I can't accept payment from you." She softened slightly, just enough to sound human. "Look, I understand you're trying to help your son, but I have rules. If he wants you to have access, he needs to come in and sign the paperwork himself or send written authorization. Those are my only options." I looked at the receipt again. The red stamp. Auction scheduled. What time does the office open tomorrow? 8 a.m. I nodded and left. Back in the car, I sat with the engine running and the heater blowing cold air that slowly turned warm. I pulled out the keycard and held it up to the dome light. The number, 3047, meant nothing to me. No hotel name, no logo, nothing to indicate where it belonged. I took out my phone and called Mara. She answered on the second ring. Hey, you still at the store? No. I need you to come home early if you can. Something's happened. Her tone changed immediately. Are you okay? I'm fine. But I need to show you something. Can you leave now? Give me 20 minutes. Thank you. I hung up and started driving home. The roads were emptier now, everyone already wherever they were going to be for the night. I passed the grocery store again, the parking lot nearly deserted. The spot where the delivery driver had stopped me was just another empty space now, no different from any other. At a red light, I pulled out the appointment card and stared at the date and time. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. Why tomorrow? Why was everything in this box pointing to tomorrow? My phone buzzed. I looked at it. Another group chat message. Tessa. Family dinner this Sunday? I'm making lasagna. Brooke replied immediately. Eli says yes. He'll call in from the road. I put my phone away and drove the rest of the way in silence. Mara's car was already in the driveway when I got home. She'd beaten me by 5 minutes. I found her in the kitchen, still wearing her work clothes. Dark slacks, blue blouse, the kind of outfit that said she managed people without trying too hard. She'd poured herself a glass of water and was leaning against the counter, waiting. Show me, she said. I set the box on the kitchen table and took out the contents one by one. Keycard, receipt, appointment card, note. Mara picked up each item, examined it, set it down. She read the note twice. Then she looked at me. When did this arrive? 2 hours ago. Delivery driver stopped me outside the grocery store, said the address kept bouncing. I was listed as backup contact. She picked up the storage receipt. Did you go there? Just left. They won't let me access the unit unless I'm authorized or I have written permission from Eli. The balance is delinquent. If it's not paid by day after tomorrow, everything goes to auction. And this? She held up the key card. No idea. No hotel name, no logo, just a number. Mara set it down and picked up the appointment card. Tomorrow at 10, no location. That's what bothers me most, I said. Everything in this box is pointing to tomorrow. The key card, the appointment time, even the storage auction is the day after. It's like someone saying I have exactly 1 day to figure this out. Eli sent this, Mara said. It wasn't a question. The handwriting on the note is his. She nodded slowly, thinking. Mara had worked in project management for 20 years, the kind of job where you learn to see patterns in chaos and make decisions with incomplete information. She was better at that than I was. Brooke posted a photo of Eli today, I said. 30 minutes before the package arrived, he was supposedly in some hotel lobby. Let me see. I pulled out my phone and showed her the group chat. She zoomed in on the photo, studied it, zoomed in more. This is staged, she said. That's what I thought. The lighting's wrong, the background's too generic, and look at his expression. She zoomed in on Eli's face. He's smiling, but it doesn't reach his eyes. This is a performance. She set my phone down and looked at the items on the table again, her expression shifting from analytical to something harder, something cold. For 2 years, she said quietly. Brooke has told us he's traveling. For 2 years we've accepted it because we had no reason not to. But he was never traveling, was he? I don't know. Yes, you do. She picked up the receipt. He has a storage unit 30 minutes from here. He has a key card to someplace local. He sent you a box that says open this alone because he couldn't risk anyone else seeing it. Especially not Brooke. I sat down at the table. The kitchen was quiet, except for the hum of the refrigerator and the distant sound of a car passing on the street outside. "Where is he?" I asked. "That's what we're going to find out tomorrow." Mara pulled out her phone. "What time does the storage office open?" 8. "Then we leave here at 7:30. We go to the storage facility, we pay whatever balance is owed, and we open that unit. If they won't let us access it, we'll find another way. She said I need written authorization from Eli. Then we'll get it." "How?" Mara looked at me with the expression she used when explaining something obvious to someone who should already know better. "We'll find him. This keycard goes to something local. We'll figure out where, and we'll go there. And if Brooke tries to stop us, she'll regret it." I'd been married to Mara for 32 years. I knew that tone. It was the tone she used when she was done being patient, done being reasonable, done being the person who smoothed things over and made everyone comfortable. "What if we're wrong?" I asked. "What if there's a simple explanation for all of this? Then we'll look foolish and apologize." She picked up the note again and read it. "But we're not wrong. You know we're not." I looked at the items on the table. The key card with its cryptic number, the receipt with its red stamp, the appointment card with its missing details. 3 pieces of a puzzle that didn't fit together yet, but would, given time. "Okay," I said. Mara nodded and stood. "I'm going to make some calls. I have a friend who works at a hotel downtown. I'll see if she recognizes this key card format. You should eat something." "I'm not hungry." "Eat anyway. Tomorrow's going to be long." She left the kitchen, already pulling up contacts on her phone. I sat there alone, staring at the box and its contents. Somewhere outside, a dog barked. A truck rumbled past. The normal sounds of evening in a small coastal town where everyone knew your name and most people knew your business. But they didn't know this. I picked up the note and read it again. "Open this alone." Not, "Don't show anyone." Not, "Keep this secret." Just, "Open this alone." Like Eli knew that whoever saw this first needed to see it without interference, without someone standing over their shoulder telling them what to think, what to believe, what story to accept. I folded the note and put it back in the box. Then I got up and made myself a sandwich I didn't want and ate it standing at the counter, watching through the window as the street outside grew darker and quieter, waiting for tomorrow to come. Mara didn't sleep that night. I know because I didn't either, and every time I rolled over or shifted position, I could feel her awake beside me, staring at the ceiling. Around 3 in the morning she got up and I heard her in the kitchen, the soft sounds of the coffee maker and cabinets opening and closing. When my alarm went off at 6, she was already dressed. We left the house at 7:20. The sky was the color of old concrete, low clouds threatening snow that wouldn't fall for another few hours. Mara drove. She's always been the better driver when things matter, calmer, more focused, less likely to let frustration turn into bad decisions. The storage facility looked different in daylight, less ominous, more depressing. The fence was even more rusted than I'd remembered, the sign missing more bulbs. A tow truck sat in the parking lot near the office, yellow lights flashing as it hooked up someone's car. I didn't recognize the car, but I recognized the situation. Payment delinquent, possession reclaimed. We walked into the office at exactly 8. The same woman was behind the desk, wearing a different cardigan, but the same reading glasses and the same expression of controlled irritation. "You're back," she said. "We need to access Unit 212. Mara set the receipt on the desk, along with her ID and a credit card. "I'm his mother. I'll pay the delinquent balance now, and I'll sign whatever paperwork is necessary." The woman, her name tag said Halpern, picked up Mara's ID and studied it. "You're not listed as authorized either. Then add me." "I can't. Only the renter can add authorized users." "The renter is my son. He sent us here. If you check your records, you'll see he listed Dean Callahan as the backup contact for the delivery address. We have the receipt. We have his written note asking us to handle this. What else do you need?" Halpern looked at the note Mara placed on the desk. 3 words. Open this alone. This isn't written authorization to access the unit, Halpern said. This is just a note. Mara leaned forward slightly, not aggressive but not backing down. Ms. Halpern, my son has a storage unit that's about to go to auction. He clearly wants us to prevent that. He sent us the receipt, he sent us a note, and he listed my husband as the backup contact. If we don't pay this balance and access this unit today, whatever's inside will be sold off to strangers. Is that really the outcome you want? Halpern was quiet for a moment. Outside, the tow truck's yellow lights kept flashing through the window, rhythmic and hypnotic. I have rules, Halpern said finally, but I also have a certain amount of discretion in unusual circumstances. This qualifies as unusual. She turned to her computer and typed. The keyboard clicks were loud in the small office. The delinquent balance is $284. That includes late fees. If you pay that now, I'll let you access the unit under supervised entry. That means I go with you, you open it, you can remove contents, but you can't change the lock or alter the rental agreement. Fair enough? Fair enough, Mara said. She ran her credit card. The receipt printed. Halpern signed it, then grabbed a set of keys from a pegboard behind the desk. Follow me, she said. We walked out into the cold. The tow truck was gone now, taking someone's car to wherever tow trucks take cars when people can't pay their bills. Halpern led us through the gate and down a row of units, our footsteps echoing off the concrete. Unit 212 was in the back corner, one of the smaller units. The door was beige metal, scuffed and dented, secured with a standard padlock. Halpern tried 3 different keys before finding the right one. Someone called twice yesterday, she said as she worked the lock, telling me not to release anything to you. I didn't catch the name, but it was a woman. She said there was a legal issue and I should wait for documentation. Mara and I looked at each other. What did you tell her? Mara asked. I told her I follow procedure, not phone calls. The lock clicked open. Halpern pulled it free and stepped back. Go ahead. Mara grabbed the handle and pulled. The door rolled up with a metallic screech that made my teeth hurt. Inside, the unit was maybe 8 feet deep and 6 feet wide. Dim light from the corridor spilled in, revealing a space that was organized but sparse. No furniture, no boxes stacked floor to ceiling. Just a few items arranged carefully against the walls like someone had packed in a hurry but with purpose. A pair of work boots, brown leather worn at the toes, still tied. A duffel bag, dark blue canvas, the kind you'd buy at any sporting goods store. It sat upright against the left wall, partially unzipped. A folding chair, metal frame, plastic seat, leaned against the back wall. A plastic storage bin, clear sides, black lid, the kind you get from any hardware store. Inside I could see papers, envelopes, a tangle of charging cables, and a suitcase, small, black, hard shell. It lay flat on the floor near the duffel bag, closed but not locked. That's it? Halpern asked. That's what's worth $284? Mara stepped inside. She knelt beside the storage bin and lifted the lid. I moved to stand beside her, looking down at the contents. Papers, lots of them, printed emails, receipts from gas stations, fast food restaurants, a laundromat. Bank statements showing a checking account I didn't recognize. A spiral notebook with handwriting on the first few pages, dates and times and locations, like someone keeping a log. Mara picked up one of the printed emails. It was from Brooke, sent to Eli 6 months ago. The subject line said, Reminder. She read it out loud. Remember what we discussed. No calls to your parents without clearing it with me first. No changes to your schedule without approval. If you make things difficult again, you know what happens. Don't test me. The words hung in the cold air like smoke. Mara set the email down and picked up another. This one was older, dated almost 2 years ago. You embarrassed me at dinner last night, in front of my friends. I told you to agree with me and you contradicted me. That won't happen again. From now on, you sleep in the car when you pull something like that. Halpern shifted uncomfortably behind us. Maybe I should wait outside. No, Mara said, her voice calm but hard. Stay. You're a witness. Remember what you see here. She dug deeper into the bin and pulled out a cell phone. Not a smartphone, an old flip phone, the kind people stopped using a decade ago. The battery was removed, sitting separate in a small plastic bag. Why would he keep a second phone? I asked. Because someone was monitoring his primary phone, Mara said. She set it aside carefully and picked up the notebook. The first page had dates going back 2 years. Next to each date was a location and a short note. March 12th, motel on Route 9. Brooke checked room at 11 p.m. April 3rd, parked behind grocery store, slept in car, too cold. May 18th, storage unit, paid cash for 3 months. I felt sick. Mara kept reading, page after page, her expression getting colder with each entry. Finally, she closed the notebook and stood up. Dean, open the suitcase. I knelt and unzipped it. Inside were clothes, a few shirts, jeans, socks, underwear. All clean, all folded. Underneath the clothes was a folder, the kind with a plastic front and metal clips inside. I opened it. Inside were more documents. Printed screenshots from social media, Brooke's posts about Eli, the ones claiming he was traveling for work, happy and successful. But the dates on the screenshots didn't match the metadata shown at the bottom of each page. The photos had been taken months or even years before they were posted. Recycled, reused, staged to create a story that wasn't real. There was also a brochure. Folded in half, glossy paper, full-color printing. The header said, Executive Corporate Suites, Extended Stay Solutions. I opened it. Inside was a map showing the layout of a building, room types, amenities, and a handwritten note in the margin. Room 3047, paid through end of month, keycard in box. I looked at Mara. She looked at the keycard still in her pocket. 3047. That's where he is, she said quietly. Halpern stepped into the unit, looking at the papers spread around us. This is bad, she said. This is really bad. Yes, Mara agreed. It is. She started gathering items carefully, the notebook, the folder, the printed emails. She looked at me. We're taking this, all of it. I can't let you remove everything, Halpern said. Rental agreement, Ms. Halpern. Mara's voice was gentle but absolute. This is evidence of ongoing abuse and control. My son stored it here because it wasn't safe anywhere else. If we don't take it now, it disappears. Do you understand? Halpern looked at the papers, at the phone with its removed battery, at the notebook with its sad, meticulous entries. Take what you need, she said finally. I didn't see anything. We loaded everything into 2 plastic bags from the office. The bin, the folder, the notebook, the phone. The work boots and the suitcase we left for now. Mara said we'd come back for them later if needed. We brought Eli home around midnight. Not to his house. He didn't have one anymore, not really. But to ours. The guest room where he used to sleep when he visited during college. The room that still had his old posters on the walls and books on the shelves from a version of himself that felt like a stranger now. He stood in the doorway looking at it like he wasn't sure he was allowed to be there. It's your room, Mara said gently. Stay as long as you need. He nodded but didn't move. Finally, he stepped inside and sat on the edge of the bed, his hands folded in his lap, shoulders hunched. I should warn you, he said. She's going to tell people I'm unstable, that I had a breakdown, that you're enabling me because you can't accept that I need professional help. Let her say it, Mara said. We have evidence, we have witnesses, we have the truth. The truth doesn't matter as much as you think it does, not when she's the one telling the story. I wanted to argue, but I didn't, because part of me knew he was right. Stories are powerful. The right story, told convincingly enough, can reshape reality in ways that facts can't touch. We left him there and went to our room. Mara set an alarm for 7. Tomorrow we'd go to Tessa's house at noon. Tomorrow night was the gala. We had roughly 36 hours to either win this fight or watch it slip through our fingers. Sleep didn't come easy. Around 3, I got up and went to the kitchen. Eli was already there, sitting at the table in the dark, staring at nothing. "Can't sleep?" I asked. "Haven't been able to sleep properly in 2 years. You get used to it." I sat down across from him. The house was quiet except for the hum of the refrigerator and the occasional creak of old wood settling. "Why didn't you leave sooner?" I asked. "Before it got this bad?" Eli was quiet for a long time. "Because I kept thinking it would get better. That if I just did what she wanted, if I just stopped making mistakes, she'd ease up. It took me a long time to realize that wasn't the goal. The goal was control. And control doesn't end until the person in charge decides it ends." "How did it start?" "Small things. She'd get upset if I talked to you or Mom without telling her first. She'd say she just wanted to be included, that it was normal for couples to share everything. Then it was my phone. She wanted access because healthy couples don't keep secrets. Then it was my friends. She didn't like them, thought they were a bad influence, wanted me to spend less time with them. By the time I realized what was happening, I was already isolated. She'd built walls around me so gradually that I didn't notice until it was too late." "The storage unit," I said. "When did you get that?" "About 6 months in. I realized I needed a place to keep things she couldn't find. Documents, evidence, stuff I might need if I ever managed to get out. I paid cash, used a fake name at first until they said I needed legitimate ID for insurance purposes. That's when I switched it to my real name and listed you as backup contact. I figured if anything happened to me, you'd find it eventually." "Why didn't you send the box sooner?" "Because I thought I could handle it myself, and because I was ashamed. I kept thinking, how did I let this happen? How did I become this person?" He looked at me. "I'm your son. You raised me to be strong, to stand up for myself, and I couldn't even do that." "That's not weakness," I said. "That's survival. There's a difference." "It doesn't feel different." We sat in silence. Outside, a car passed on the street, its headlights sweeping across the kitchen window. "Tomorrow at Tessa's," Eli said. "She's going to try to convince you that I'm exaggerating. She'll say Brooke and I were having normal marriage problems and that I'm blowing them out of proportion. She'll use words like miscommunication and stress and perspective, and she'll be so reasonable about it that you'll start to doubt what you've seen." "We're recording the conversation." "Good. But be careful. She knows how to say things that sound innocent on tape but carry different meanings in context. She's been learning from Brooke." "How long has Tessa been involved?" "About a year. Before that, she was just oblivious. But once Brooke started talking about the business entity and the trust account, Tessa got interested. Gavin definitely encouraged it. He's always looking for angles, always trying to position himself for opportunities. Between the 3 of them, they built this whole plan, and I was just the resource they needed to access." The anger in his voice was quiet but deep, the kind of anger that comes from realizing you've been used by people you thought cared about you. "We're going to make this right," I said. "Maybe. Or maybe you'll just end up as collateral damage. Then we'll be collateral damage together." He almost smiled. "Mom said something similar earlier. You two really are a team, huh?" 32 years. We've had practice. Brooke and I never had that. We had performance, we had image, but we never had partnership." He stood up. "I'm going to try to sleep. Thanks for listening." "Anytime." He went back to his room. I sat at the table a while longer, thinking about partnerships and performances and the difference between the two. When morning came, we prepared for battle. Grant arrived at 10 with a folder full of documents. He spread them across the dining room table. Timeline, witness statements, bank records, trust transfers, everything organized and annotated. "This is your ammunition," he said. "Use it carefully. Don't show everything at once. Let them dig themselves deeper with lies before you present the proof. What about the gala tonight? Mara asked. I got you on the guest list. You're registered as Mr. and Mrs. Dean Callahan +1. That +1 is Eli, in case you were wondering. I figured it was better to be explicit about his attendance. Won't they try to keep us out? They might. But it's a public charity event with multiple sponsors. Brooke and Gavin are hosts, not owners. They can't legally bar you from entering unless you pose a safety threat, which you don't. If they try, it becomes a scene, which is the last thing they want. What's the plan once we're inside? I asked. You stay low-key initially, observe, see how they're playing it. If they're pretending everything is fine, you let them keep pretending until the moment is right. Then you introduce reality. How? You ask questions. In front of their guests, in front of their sponsors, you ask simple, direct questions they can't answer without lying. Where has Eli really been for 2 years? Why does he have a storage unit full of evidence documenting control and threats? Why was money transferred from a family trust without Dean's knowledge? Make them choose between lying publicly or admitting the truth. They'll lie, Eli said. Probably. But lies under pressure are easy to disprove, especially when you have documentation and witnesses ready to contradict them. Mara looked at her watch. We need to leave for Tessa's soon. Last chance to change the plan. Don't change it, Grant said. You're doing everything right. Just stick to facts, record everything, and don't let them bait you into emotional reactions. We left the house at 11:30. The drive to Tessa's place took 15 minutes. She lived in a new development on the north side of town, one of those neighborhoods where every house looked similar and every lawn was aggressively maintained. Her house was a 2-story colonial with white siding and black shutters, a double garage, and a front porch with decorative pillars that served no structural purpose. Gavin's truck was in the driveway. So was Brooke's sedan. She's here, Eli said from the back seat. Of course she's here. You don't have to come in, Mara said. Yes, I do. If I'm not there, they'll say I'm too unstable to face them. I need to show up. We parked on the street and walked to the front door. Mara had her phone in her purse, recording app already running. I had mine in my jacket pocket, doing the same. Tessa opened the door before we knocked. She looked polished and put together in a way that reminded me of Brooke. Careful makeup, styled hair, an outfit that said casual but expensive. Dad, Mom. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Come in. Eli, honey, I'm so glad you're here. The endearment felt wrong, forced. Eli didn't respond. Inside, the house was exactly what you'd expect from someone trying to project success they didn't quite have yet. New furniture that looked expensive but wasn't. Artwork that was decorative but not memorable. Everything clean and arranged and lifeless. Brooke was sitting in the living room, perched on the edge of an armchair like she was posing for a photograph. She looked calm, composed, every inch the reasonable person dealing with unreasonable circumstances. Dean. Mara. She stood and offered a small, sad smile. Thank you for coming. I know this has been difficult. Gavin stood near the window, arms crossed, playing the supportive husband. He nodded at us but didn't speak. Please, sit, Tessa said, gesturing to the couch. We sat. Eli stayed standing near the door, like he might need to leave quickly. I asked you here because I'm worried, Tessa began. About all of us, but especially about Eli. Brooke has shared some concerns with me, and I think we need to talk about them as a family. What concerns? Mara asked. Tessa glanced at Brooke, who nodded slightly. Permission. Brooke is worried that Eli's been struggling with his mental health, Tessa said carefully, and that instead of getting him help, you've been encouraging him to blame his struggles on her. That's not healthy. That's not fair to anyone. That's not what's happening, I said. Then what is happening? Gavin asked. Because from where we're standing, it looks like you've taken Eli out of a hotel room where he was safe and brought him to your house against his wife's wishes. That's not intervention. That's interference. He wasn't safe, Mara said. He was isolated, monitored, and controlled. According to him, Brooke said quietly. And I love Eli. I really do. But he's not seeing things clearly right now. He's been under tremendous stress. The travel, the work pressure, the distance from family, it's all taken a toll. I've been trying to support him through it, but he started misinterpreting my support as something else. We've seen the emails, I said. The threats, the rules, the punishments. You've seen emails taken out of context, Brooke corrected. Every couple argues. Every couple sets boundaries. If Eli showed you messages from difficult moments in our marriage and framed them as abuse, that's not my fault. That's his perception, colored by whatever he's going through mentally. What about the storage unit? Mara asked. What about it? Brooke's expression remained calm. Eli rented a storage unit without telling me. I didn't know about it until yesterday when you mentioned it. I have no idea what he put in there or why. He put evidence there because he was afraid of you. Or he put things there because he's struggling with paranoia and needed a place to hide items he thinks are important but aren't. Brooke leaned forward slightly, her expression sympathetic. I've been reading about this. Stress-induced paranoia is common in people who travel constantly for work. They start seeing threats where none exist. They start hoarding evidence of imagined slights. It's a coping mechanism, but it's not reality. I felt my anger rising, but Mara put a hand on my knee, steady, calm. What about the money? Mara asked. The trust account, the transfer to Callahan Solutions Group. Tessa and Brooke exchanged glances. I don't know what you're referring to, Brooke said carefully. The Callahan Family Trust, $300,000. 8 months ago, control was transferred to you. $50,000 was moved into a business entity you and Tessa created. Oh, that. Brooke smiled, like we'd just cleared up a simple misunderstanding. Dean authorized that transfer. It was part of estate planning. His financial advisor recommended consolidating family assets under a single trustee to simplify management. I agreed to take on that responsibility because Dean said he didn't want to deal with it. I never authorized that, I said. You signed the paperwork, Dad, Tessa said gently. I was there. You came to Brooke's lawyer, you reviewed the documents, and you signed. Maybe you don't remember because it was routine business, but it happened. I never went to a lawyer. You did, last spring. Brooke's attorney, Mr. Wagner. He has the signed documents on file. I felt the ground shifting under me. Had I signed something? Had there been a meeting I'd forgotten? If you're confused about what you signed, that's concerning, Brooke said softly. Maybe we should all be talking about your memory issues instead of focusing on Eli. Mara's hand tightened on my knee. We'd like to see those documents, the ones Dean supposedly signed. Of course, I'll have Mr. Wagner send copies, but I think what's really important here is that we all acknowledge that this situation has gotten out of hand. Eli needs professional help. You need to stop enabling him, and we need to move forward as a family with honesty and support. Honesty, Eli said quietly. Everyone turned to look at him. You want honesty? Okay. Tell them about the car. Brooke's expression flickered, just for a second. What car? The one you made me sleep in when I embarrassed you in front of your friends. Tell them how many nights I spent in parking lots because you decided I didn't deserve to come home. Eli, that's not... Tell them about the phone monitoring, how you installed tracking software and read every message and threatened me when I tried to turn it off. You're taking things out of context. Tell them about the rules, the lists you made of what I could say and who I could talk to, and when I was allowed to have opinions that differed from yours. His voice was rising now, 2 years of suppressed anger finally breaking through. Eli, please calm down, Tessa said. You're getting worked up. No, I'm done being calm. I'm done pretending this is normal. I'm done letting you rewrite reality because it's more comfortable for you. Brooke stood. I think this meeting is over. Clearly, Eli is not in a state to have a rational conversation. Sit down, Mara said. Her voice wasn't loud, but it had steel in it. Brooke hesitated, then sat. We're going to finish this conversation, Mara continued, and you're going to answer questions honestly, or we're going to make everything we've found public. Your choice. Are you threatening me? I'm offering you an opportunity to control your own narrative before we control it for you. The room went silent. Gavin shifted uncomfortably. Tessa looked at Brooke like she was waiting for instructions. What do you want? Brooke asked finally. The truth. On record. All of it. And if I refuse? Then tonight at your gala, in front of all your sponsors and friends and business contacts, we present everything. The storage unit contents, the witness statements, the trust account transfers, the emails, and we let them decide who to believe. Brooke's mask cracked. Just for a moment, I saw the calculation behind it, the rapid assessment of options and outcomes. You wouldn't dare. Try us, Mara said. The silence stretched out. Then Tessa spoke. Maybe we should all take a break. Cool down. Come back to this later when everyone's calmer. No breaks, Mara said. We're done with delays. You have until 6 tonight to decide how this plays out. Either you come clean voluntarily, or we do it for you. Those are your options. We stood. Eli moved to the door. This isn't over, Brooke said. You're right, Mara replied. It's not. See you tonight. We walked out. Behind us, I heard raised voices starting, Brooke and Tessa arguing in sharp whispers. In the car, Eli exhaled shakily. That was terrifying. That was necessary, Mara said. Now they know we're serious, and they have 6 hours to panic. What if they don't panic? What if they double down? Then we finish it at the gala. She looked at me. You okay? I think so. That thing about the trust documents. Did I sign something? Maybe. But if you did, it was under false pretenses. We'll figure it out. She pulled out her phone. Grant? They're rattled. We're going to need everything ready for tonight. Full documentation, witnesses on standby, and a plan for how to present it if they force our hand. She listened for a moment, then nodded. Perfect. See you at 7. She hung up and started the car. Tonight's going to be ugly, but it's also going to be final. One way or another, this ends. I looked at Eli in the rearview mirror. He stared out the window, expression unreadable. You did good in there, I said. I didn't do enough. I should have said more. You said what mattered. That's enough. We drove home in silence. The sky was gray and heavy, threatening snow that still hadn't fallen. By tonight, it probably would. Perfect weather for a disaster.